Hey everyone, tonight I'm standing on my front porch, the air thick with the metallic tang of a summer storm, my heart pounding as I watch red and blue police lights pulse across the manicured lawns of Maplewood Lane. My neighbor Brenda is screaming from her driveway, her voice shrill as she points at my house, accusing me of ruining the neighborhood, while her husband films me with his phone like I'm some kind of criminal. The nerve of her after everything she's done after the venom she spat at me 3 months ago. We don't want single mothers on this street. You probably wouldn't last a week living next to someone like this. So, before you settle in, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you actually want more raw stories like this. Drop a comment below. Where are you listening from? And have you ever had a nightmare neighbor? Now take a deep breath, because here's everything you never knew about the war. I survived on my own front lawn. My name is Elise, and I moved to this quiet, tree-lined street in suburban Ohio 2 years ago, chasing a fresh start after a messy divorce. I bought a modest 2-story house with a wraparound porch perfect for sipping coffee and waving at neighbors. I also own a second property, a rental a few blocks away, which I'd been leasing to a quiet retiree. Maplewood Lane seemed perfect. Kids on bikes, block parties, the kind of place where people leave casseroles on your doorstep. But Brenda, who lives next door in a pristine colonial with perfectly trimmed hedges, had other plans. From the moment I moved in, her fake smiles and sidelong glances told me I wasn't welcome. I'm a single mom to my 8-year-old daughter Lily, and apparently that made me a threat to her vision of a respectable neighborhood. It started small. Brenda would forget to invite me to the neighborhood book club. Her husband Greg would mow his lawn at 7 a.m. On Saturdays, the roar of his mower drowning out Lily's cartoons. But I brushed it off live and let live right. Then came the day that changed everything. I was planting tulips in my front yard, Lily giggling as she helped me dig, when Brenda marched over her arms, crossed her lips pursed like she'd sucked a lemon. "Elise?" She said, her voice dripping with condescension. "We've been talking, and we don't want single mothers on this street. They bring instability. You understand?" I froze dirt, smudging my hands, my daughter's wide eyes watching me. Brenda didn't even lower her voice. She wanted Lily to hear it, to feel the sting. I could have cried. I could have screamed. Instead, I smiled, my teeth gritted, and said, "Okay." Brenda smirked, thinking she'd won, and sauntered back to her perfect house. But as I tucked Lily into bed that night, her small voice asking, "Why doesn't she like us?" "Mommy," something snapped inside me. I wasn't going to let Brenda and her clique of gossipy neighbors push me out. I had a second property, and I was going to use it. If they didn't want one single mother, I'd give them 4 more. The next morning, I called my property manager and told her to find single mothers, strong, vibrant women who'd make Maplewood Lane their home. I wasn't just renting out a house, I was building an army. Within a week, I had applications from 4 incredible women: Maria, a nurse with 2 teenage boys; Tanya, a graphic designer with a toddler; Leah, a teacher with a newborn; and Simone, a chef raising her preteen daughter. They were all single moms, all resilient, all ready to start fresh. I met them at the rental property, a cozy 3-bedroom with a big backyard, and we clicked instantly. Their stories of divorce, of struggle, of defiance mirrored mine. I signed the leases that day, my hands trembling with a mix of fear and exhilaration. The move-in day was chaos in the best way. Maria's boys hauled boxes while Tanya's toddler chased butterflies. Leah rocked her baby on the porch, and Simone blasted jazz from a portable speaker. I helped carry furniture, my heart swelling as I watched the house come alive. But across the street, I saw curtains twitching. Brenda was watching her phone pressed to her ear, probably rallying her troops. I didn't care. I was done playing nice. That night, I invited the women over for pizza at my place. We laughed, clinked glasses of cheap wine, and planned our next steps. They weren't just tenants, they were my allies in a war Brenda didn't know she'd started. But Brenda wasn't subtle. The next day, I woke to find my mailbox stuffed with an anonymous note, "Get them out or you'll regret it." The handwriting was neat, precise. Brenda's, I was sure. Lily found it first, her face crumpling as she read it. I hugged her tight, promising her we were safe, but inside, I was seething. I wasn't just fighting for myself anymore. I was fighting for Maria, Tanya, Leah, Simone, and every single mom who'd ever been told they weren't good enough. I looked out my window at Brenda's house, her porch light glowing like a challenge, and made a vow I'd make her regret ever crossing me. The first blow came fast. That evening, as I watered my garden, Brenda's sprinklers accidentally soaked me, her laughter echoing from her patio. I wiped the water from my face, my cheeks burning, and realized this was only the beginning. She thought she could intimidate me, shame me into submission, but she didn't know me. She didn't know the fire she'd lit. I'd spent years rebuilding my life after my ex left me with nothing but debt and a broken heart. If Brenda wanted a war, I'd give her one she'd never forget. The air feels heavier now, like the calm before a tornado, as I walk down Maplewood Lane toward the community center, my heels clicking against the sidewalk. It's been a week since my new tenants moved in, and Brenda's already rallied her clique for an emergency HOA meeting. I can still see her smirk from yesterday when she casually mentioned it while pruning her roses, her voice sugary sweet. "Oh, Elise, you should come. We're discussing property values. I know what this is, a public ambush." My phone buzzes with a text from Maria. They're gossiping about us at the corner store. "Stay strong." I clench my jaw, my pulse racing. Brenda thinks she can shame me into backing down, but she's about to learn I don't fold. The community center smells like stale coffee and floor polish, its fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. About 20 neighbors are seated in folding chairs, their whispers hushing as I step inside. Brenda's at the front, standing beside the HOA president, a wiry man named Harold, who's always got a clipboard and a superiority complex. She's dressed in a crisp blazer, her hair pulled into a tight bun, looking like she's about to deliver a TED Talk on moral decay. Greg's beside her, arms crossed, glaring at me like I've personally offended his lawnmower. I take a seat in the back, my hands gripping my purse, feeling every pair of eyes on me. The room's tension is suffocating like gasoline waiting for a match. Harold clears his throat, launching into a spiel about maintaining community standards. But Brenda can't wait her turn. She interrupts, her voice sharp as a blade. "We all know why we're here," she says, pointing at me. "Elise has turned her rental into a halfway house for single mothers, and it's dragging our neighborhood down." Gasps ripple through the room. My cheeks burn, but I keep my face neutral, refusing to give her the satisfaction of seeing me flinch. She goes on listing complaints, noise traffic, unsavory types, none of which are true. I glance around, spotting a few neighbors nodding, but others look uncomfortable, their eyes darting away. I stand, my voice steady despite the knot in my stomach. "Brenda, you've been to my rental. You saw 4 women and their kids moving in, not a circus. If you've got evidence of unsavory types, show it." The room goes silent. Brenda's mouth twitches, but she recovers, tossing her head. "We don't need evidence to know what's happening," she snaps. "This street is for families, stable families." The word stable lands like a slap, and I hear Lily's voice in my head asking why Brenda doesn't like us. My hands shake, but I don't sit down. Then Harold pulls out a petition, waving it like a flag. "We've got signatures to restrict rentals to approved tenants," he says, "to protect our property values." I scan the room, realizing half these people probably signed it without a second thought. My heart sinks, but I force myself to speak. "Approved tenants. You mean no single moms, no nurses or teachers, like my tenants? That's not protection, it's discrimination." A few neighbors shift in their seats, one woman muttering to her husband. Brenda's eyes narrow, but I'm not done. If you want to play this game, Brenda, I'll make sure every lawyer in town knows what you're doing. The meeting ends in chaos, neighbors arguing, Harold banging his gavel like a wannabe judge. Brenda storms out, but not before hissing at me. This isn't over. I leave with my head high, but my chest feels tight like I've just run a marathon. Outside, the night air is cool, and I lean against my car, replaying her words. She's not just coming for me, she's coming for Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone. I can't let her win. The next morning, I wake to find my front lawn trashed, empty beer cans and fast food wrappers strewn across the grass. Lily's outside picking up the mess before I can stop her, her small hands clutching a crumpled McDonald's bag. Did I do something wrong, Mommy? She asks, her voice trembling. I kneel beside her, my throat burning. No, baby. This is someone else's mess. I know it's Brenda or one of her minions, but I have no proof. My neighbor across the street, Mrs. Carter, watches from her porch, her face sympathetic but silent. She's one of the few who hasn't signed the petition, but she's too scared to speak up. I spend the day cleaning up my anger simmering. That evening, I visit the rental to check on my tenants. Maria's in the kitchen making tamales while Tanya's toddler scribbles on the floor. Leah's grading papers and Simone's telling a story about her restaurant days. They're worried about the HOA meeting, but they're not backing down. We've dealt with worse than Brenda, Maria says, her eyes fierce. Let her try. Their strength fuels me, but I know Brenda's next move will be uglier. As I drive home, I see Brenda's porch light flicker on her silhouette in the window. She's watching me, always watching. I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles white. She thinks this petition will scare me, that her whispers and smirks will break me. But she's wrong. I'm not just fighting for my tenants, I'm fighting for every woman who's been told she doesn't belong. I pull into my driveway, my resolve hardening. Brenda's about to find out what happens when you push a single mom too far. The sun's barely up, casting a golden haze over Maplewood Lane, when I hear the roar of a lawnmower. Not Greg's usual Saturday racket, but something deliberate, malicious. I step onto my porch, coffee mug in hand, and see my front lawn. It's been shredded patches of grass, gouged out dirt clumps, scattered like shrapnel. Tire marks snake across it, leading straight to Brenda's driveway, where her teenage son Kyle is hosing off their riding mower, avoiding my gaze. My chest tightens, rage bubbling up like lava. Brenda's escalated from whispers and petitions to outright vandalism, and she's using her kid to do it. I snap a photo, my hands shaking, knowing this is the kind of evidence I'll need. Lily's at the window, her nose pressed to the glass, eyes wide. Mommy, what happened to our yard? I force a smile, ushering her back inside, promising we'll plant new flowers together. But inside, I'm seething. Brenda's not just attacking me, she's making my daughter feel unsafe in her own home. I march over to the rental property, needing to see my tenants, to remind myself why I'm fighting. Maria's outside helping her boys unload groceries, while Tanya's toddler chases a soccer ball. Leah's on the porch rocking her newborn, and Simone's pruning the rose bushes. They notice my expression and gather around, their faces a mix of concern and defiance. I tell them about the lawn, showing them the photo. Maria's jaw clenches. That's low even for her, she says. Simone, her chef's knife still in hand from trimming, mutters. She's begging for a reckoning. We sit on the porch, plotting our next move. I've already called a landscaper to fix my yard, but that's just a bandage. Brenda's trying to scare us to make us feel like outsiders. Tanya suggests we throw a barbecue invite, the whole street show everyone we're not the problem. Let them see us, she says, her eyes fierce. Let them see who's really tearing this place apart. The barbecue happens that weekend, and it's a statement. Maria's boys set up tables in the rental's backyard. Simone grills burgers, and Leah strings fairy lights. Tanya's toddler dances to a portable speaker blasting upbeat pop. I invite every neighbor, even the ones who signed Brenda's petition, slipping flyers under their doors with a handwritten note, "Come meet the instability Brenda's talking about." A few show up: Mrs. Carter, the retired teacher across the street, and a young couple, the Hendersons, who've stayed neutral. They're hesitant at first, but Simone's food and Maria's warmth win them over. Kids play, adults laugh, and for a moment it feels like we're building something stronger than Brenda's hate. But Brenda doesn't show. Instead, she watches from her porch, her arms crossed, her glare cutting through the dusk. Greg's beside her, filming us with his phone, probably hoping to catch something to twist for the HOA. I ignore them, focusing on Lily, who's giggling with Tanya's toddler, their faces smeared with ketchup. But the next morning, I wake to a new nightmare. My car's windshield is plastered with flyers, each one printed with a grainy photo of the barbecue and the words, "Keep our street clean." The message is clear. Brenda's calling us trash. Lily sees it before I can peel them off, her small voice asking, "Are we bad, Mommy?" I hug her tight, my heart breaking, and swear I'll make this right. I call a lawyer that day, a friend of a friend, who specializes in property disputes. She warns me that proving Brenda's behind the vandalism will be tough without hard evidence, but she agrees to draft a cease and desist letter for harassment. It's a start, but it's not enough. I need to hit Brenda where it hurts her reputation. I start talking to neighbors, the ones who didn't sign the petition, like Mrs. Carter and the Hendersons. They're wary, but admit Brenda's been bullying people for years, pressuring them to conform, shaming anyone who doesn't fit her mold. "She's got the HOA wrapped around her finger," Mrs. Carter whispers, glancing at Brenda's house like it's haunted. That night, I'm up late, scrolling through neighborhood social media, when I see a post from Brenda, a photo of my trashed lawn with a caption about declining property values. The comments are vicious, her clique piling on, calling my tenants riffraff. But there's a dissenting voice, the Hendersons, writing, "Maybe we should talk to these women before judging." It's small, but it's a crack in Brenda's armor. I screenshot everything, my resolve hardening. She thinks she can control the narrative, but I'm done letting her. The climax comes a few days later. I'm at the rental helping Simone plant a vegetable garden when Kyle, Brenda's son, rides by on his bike, slowing to sneer at us. "You're wasting your time," he calls. "Mom says you'll be gone by Christmas." Simone stands, her pruning shears glinting, and says, "Tell your mom she's got no idea who she's messing with." Kyle pedals off, but his words linger. I realize Brenda's not just fighting me, she's grooming her kid to carry her hate. It's a gut punch, but it also clarifies something. This isn't just about my lawn or my tenants. It's about breaking a cycle of cruelty. As I drive home, I see Brenda's porch light flicker on her silhouette in the window. She's watching, always watching. But now, I'm watching her too. I've got a lawyer, a growing list of allies, and a fire in my belly that won't quit. Brenda wanted a war, and I'm ready to fight not just for me, but for every single mom she's tried to erase. My lawn's a mess, but my resolve is ironclad. She's about to learn what happens when you underestimate women like us. The stench hits me first, rotten, pungent, like something died in my backyard. I'm sipping coffee on my porch, the morning air crisp, when Lily runs in, her nose wrinkled, holding her shirt over her face. "Mommy, it smells gross outside." I step into the yard, and there it is, piles of dog poop smeared across my patio, flung over the fence that separates my property from Brenda's. The message is clear, vicious, and personal. My stomach churns, not just from the smell, but from the audacity. Brenda's crossed a line, and this time she's left evidence. I grab my phone, snapping photos of the mess, my hands trembling with fury. This isn't just about her hating single moms anymore. It's about humiliating me in front of my daughter. I send Lily to her room with a coloring book, promising we'll clean it up together later, but my mind's racing. Brenda's been bold before, trashed lawns flyers on my car. But this is next level vile. I call Maria, who's at the rental with the others, and tell her what happened. Her voice is steel. That woman's unhinged. We need to hit back hard. Tanya suggests checking my security cameras, a system I installed after the lawn vandalism. I'd almost forgotten about them tucked discreetly under the eaves. I pull up the footage on my laptop, my heart pounding, and there it is, 2 a.m. Brenda's husband Greg creeping along our fence with a plastic bag, scooping dog waste from their yard and hurling it over. The grainy video catches his face smug and unhurried, like he's enjoying it. I'm livid, but a part of me feels a thrill. This is the proof I've been waiting for. I save the footage, burn it to a USB drive, and call my lawyer, Sarah. She's calm but firm. This is criminal mischief, maybe even harassment. We can file a police report and use this for the cease and desist. I hesitate, picturing police cars on Maplewood Lane, Lily asking questions, but then I remember Brenda's smirk at the HOA meeting, her son's taunt about us being gone by Christmas. No more playing nice. I tell Sarah to draft the paperwork and head to the police station that afternoon, the USB drive burning a hole in my purse. The officer, a tired-looking man named Rodriguez, watches the footage with a grimace. "This is pretty blatant," he says, scribbling notes. "We'll pay them a visit, but don't expect an apology." I don't want an apology. I want Brenda to squirm. As I leave the station, I feel a shift, like I've finally grabbed the reins. But when I get home, Brenda's on her porch, watering her flowers like nothing's happened. Her eyes flicking toward me with that infuriating smirk. She knows what she did, and she thinks she's untouchable. My blood boils, but I force myself to wave my smile tight. Let her think she's won just for now. That evening, I gather Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone at my house. We sit around my kitchen table, the smell of Simone's homemade lasagna filling the air, but the mood is heavy. I show them the footage, and their reactions range from disgust to outrage. Leah, usually the quiet one, slams her fist on the table. She's not just attacking you, she's attacking all of us. We brainstorm our voices low so Lily playing upstairs doesn't hear. Maria suggests going public, posting the video online, but Sarah warned me that could backfire legally. Instead, we decide to confront Brenda indirectly, make her feel the heat, without breaking any rules. The next day, I print flyers with a still from the footage, Greg's face blurred, but the act unmistakable, and a simple message. Who's really lowering property values? I don't sign it, but I slip copies under the doors of every neutral neighbor, Mrs. Carter, the Hendersons, even the ones who stayed silent at the HOA meeting. By noon, the street's buzzing. I overhear two women at the mailbox whispering about that disgusting stunt. Brenda's car doesn't leave her driveway all day, and I catch her peeking through her curtains, her face pale. For the first time, she looks rattled, and it feels like a small victory. But the blowback comes fast. That night, I'm tucking Lily into bed when I hear a pounding on my door. It's Greg, red-faced, reeking of beer, yelling about slander and ruining his reputation. I keep the door chained, my phone recording, telling him to leave or I'll call the cops. He backs off, but not before spitting on my porch. Lily's awake now, clinging to me, her voice shaky. Is he mad at us? I hug her, promising she's safe, but my heart's racing. Brenda's not just fighting dirty, she's dragging her family into it, and I'm starting to see the cost of this war. The next morning, Officer Rodriguez calls. He and his partner visited Brenda's house, showed her the footage. She denied everything, claiming Greg was just cleaning up after their dog, but they issued a warning for trespassing. It's not much, but it's enough to make her think twice. I walk to the rental, needing to see my tenants to feel their strength. Maria's boys are shooting hoops, Tanya's toddler is painting rocks, and Leah's baby is cooing on a blanket. Simone hands me a coffee, her eyes fierce. She's scared now, she says. Keep pushing. I nod, but inside I'm wrestling with a new fear. How far will Brenda go to win? As I head home, Brenda's porch light flicks on her silhouette in the window, watching. I don't wave this time. I've got her on the ropes, but I know she's not done. She's cornered, and cornered animals are dangerous. I've changed too. I'm not just the single mom who wanted a quiet life. I'm a fighter, and I'm ready for whatever she throws next. But as I lock my door, Lily's scared face flashes in my mind, and I wonder if I'm ready for the collateral damage. The air's thick with the scent of fresh paint as I stand in my driveway watching a contractor touch up my mailbox, which someone guess who spray painted with the word trash last night. My hands are still gritty from scrubbing the paint off my siding, and Lily's at Maria's spared from seeing this latest attack. Brenda's gone quiet since the police visit, but this vandalism screams her name. I'm exhausted, my nerves frayed, but when I check my phone, there's a new email from the HOA, a formal petition to evict my tenants signed by Brenda, and 12 others citing community disruption. My stomach drops. She's not just fighting dirty, she's trying to rewrite the rules to kick us all out. I drive to the rental, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, and find Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone in the living room, their faces grim. Maria hands me a copy of the petition, its language cold and legalistic, accusing the women of excessive noise and undesirable behavior. It's a lie, and we know it, but the signatures neighbors I've waved to shared small talk with sting like betrayal. Tanya's toddler naps on the couch, oblivious, while Leah's newborn fusses in her arms. Simone paces, her chef's hands clenched. "They can't do this, right?" she asks. I want to say no, but the HOA's power is real, and Brenda's got Harold eating out of her palm. I call Sarah, my lawyer, who's quick to point out the petition's flaws. It's vague, lacks evidence, and reeks of discrimination. "We can fight this," she says, "but you need to rally support. Show the HOA these women are assets, not liabilities." I hang up, my mind racing. Brenda's counting on us to crumble to pack up and leave. But I look at Maria, who survived worse than this, at Tanya's fierce eyes, at Leah's quiet strength, at Simone's defiance, and I know we're not going anywhere. We need a plan, and we need it fast. That night, we gather at my house, the kitchen glowing with candlelight to keep the mood calm. Lily's upstairs, headphones on, watching cartoons. We brainstorm over Simone's homemade empanadas, the savory aroma grounding us. Maria suggests a counter-petition, one that proves the tenants are valued community members. Tanya, the graphic designer, offers to make flyers showcasing their contributions. Maria's nursing, Leah's teaching, Simone's cooking her own art. I propose hosting an open house at the rental, inviting the whole neighborhood to meet them to see the truth Brenda's trying to bury. It's risky. Brenda could twist it, but we're done hiding. The open house happens 3 days later, on a crisp Saturday afternoon. The rental's backyard is transformed, tables grown with Simone's food, Tanya's toddler hands out her colorful flyers, and Maria's boys lead kids in a scavenger hunt. Leah's set up a reading nook, sharing books with shy neighbors. I've invited everyone, even Brenda's clique, and to my surprise, a decent crowd shows up. Mrs. Carter brings cookies, the Hendersons linger, and even a few petition signers, like the Wilsons, shuffle in looking guilty. I stand by the gate, greeting people, my heart pounding. Brenda's not here, but Greg's across the street filming us again, his phone a constant threat. The event's a success. Neighbors laugh, kids play, and Tanya's flyers circulate their bold text, praising the tenants' contributions. Mrs. Carter pulls me aside, her voice low. "I didn't sign that petition, Elise. Brenda's been lying about a lot of us." The Hendersons nod nearby, admitting they felt pressured by Brenda's property values spiel. It's a turning point, a crack in her influence. I'm starting to feel hope when I hear a commotion at the gate. Brenda's arrived uninvited, her blazer pristine, her smile venomous. "What a cute little stunt," she says, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Too bad it won't change anything." I step forward, my voice steady. "Brenda, if you've got a problem, take it to the HOA meeting. Let's see your evidence." The crowd quiets, eyes darting between us. Brenda's smile falters, but she recovers, tossing her head. "Oh, I will. And I've got plenty of support." She turns to leave, but not before I notice a few neighbors' ones who signed her petition, avoiding her gaze. They're wavering, and she knows it. I've landed a blow, and it feels electric. But the victory's short-lived. The next morning, I find a new flyer on my doorstep, this one anonymous, but clearly Brenda's work. A photo of the open house with a caption, "Don't let outsiders ruin our street." It's distributed to every house, and by noon, the neighborhood split, some defending us online, others parroting Brenda's lies. I'm furious, but Sarah calls with good news. The HOA's agreed to a public hearing to review both petitions. It's our chance to expose Brenda, but it's also her chance to bury us. I visit the rental where Maria's teaching her boys to box, channeling her anger. "We'll fight this," she says. "All of us." As I walk home, Brenda's porch light flicks on her silhouette in the window. She's watching plotting, but I'm not the same Elise she mocked months ago. I've got allies' evidence and a fire she can't extinguish. The hearing's in a week, and I'm ready to tear her lies apart. But as I lock my door, Lily's question from weeks ago echoes. "Are we bad, Mommy? I'm fighting for her, for my tenants, for every woman Brenda's tried to break. I just hope it's enough." The night is heavy, the kind of humid darkness that clings to your skin, and I'm jolted awake by a scream that rips through Maplewood Lane. It's 1 a.m. and my heart's pounding as I throw on a robe and rush to the window. Across the street at the rental, Maria's on her porch, flashlight in hand, yelling at a figure sprinting into the shadows. My stomach lurches. Brenda's escalated again, and this time it's not just dog poop or flyers. I grab my phone, slip on sneakers, and run to the rental, the pavement cold under my feet. Maria's boys are awake, peering out the window, while Tanya, Leah, and Simone join her outside, their faces a mix of fear and fury. "Someone was messing with the cars," Maria says, her voice shaking. "I saw them slash Tanya's tires." I shine my phone's flashlight on Tanya's minivan. All 4 tires are flat, the rubber sliced clean through. Leah's car is next, its windshield cracked, a brick lying nearby. My tenants are shaken, but their anger outweighs their fear. Simone's gripping a baseball bat, muttering about teaching someone a lesson. I call the police, my hands trembling, and while we wait, I check my security cameras remotely. The footage is blurry, but it catches a hooded figure, Greg's build, his lanky stride, running from the scene. Brenda's not doing this herself anymore. She's sending her husband to terrorize us. The realization hits like a punch. She's desperate, and that makes her dangerous. The police arrive, 2 officers in a patrol car, their flashlights sweeping the yard. They take statements, collect the brick, and promise to look into it, but their tone says they're not holding their breath. Maria's boys cling to her, and Tanya's toddler, woken by the noise, cries in her arms. I feel helpless, but I'm also enraged. Brenda's not just coming for me, she's targeting my tenants, women who've done nothing but try to live their lives. As the cops leave, I gather everyone inside the rental. We sit in the living room, the air thick with tension, and I promise them I'm not backing down. "We've got the footage," I say. "We'll use it at the HOA hearing." Leah, usually soft-spoken, nods fiercely. "Let's end this." The next morning, I'm at Sarah's office, the USB drive with the footage in my hand. She watches it, her jaw tight. "This is vandalism, maybe stalking," she says. "We'll file another police report and add it to our case for the hearing." She's also dug up dirt on Brenda. Turns out she's been cited before for HOA violations, like unreported renovations, which could undermine her credibility. It's ammunition, but I know Brenda won't go down without a fight. I spend the day helping Tanya get her tires replaced, Leah's windshield fixed, and reassuring Maria's boys that they're safe. But Lily's starting to sense the tension. She's quieter, clinging to me more, and it's killing me that Brenda's hate is touching her. That evening, I'm ready to crash when I hear shouting from Brenda's house. I peek through my blinds and see her on her porch, screaming at Greg, who's storming to his car. "You idiot, you got caught," she yells, her voice carrying. Greg peels out and Brenda slams her door. It's a crack in their united front, and I file it away. She's unraveling, but that only makes me more vigilant. I double-check my locks, my cameras, and tuck Lily in with an extra story trying to shield her from the chaos. The climax comes the next night. I'm at the rental helping Simone install motion sensor lights when we hear a crash from the backyard. We grab flashlights and find Brenda herself caught in the act, spray painting leave on the fence. The new lights flood the yard, and she freezes paint can in hand, her face a mask of shock. Maria's there in seconds phone recording while Simone blocks the gate. "Got you?" I say, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Brenda drops the can, stammering about checking on a noise, but we're not buying it. I call the police again, and this time they take her in for questioning. Her blazer rumpled, her composure shattered. As they drive her away, the tenants and I stand together, watching the taillights fade. It's a victory, but it feels hollow. Maria's boys are scared Tanya's toddler won't sleep, and Leah's newborn senses the stress. I'm fighting for us, but I'm also dragging them through this war. Back home, I check on Lily, who's asleep, her face peaceful. I sit on her bed, my resolve shifting. Brenda's on the ropes, but I need to end this at the hearing, not just for me, but for all of us. I've changed. I'm not just reacting anymore. I'm strategic, a general in this neighborhood war. Brenda's porch light is off tonight, her house dark. She's licking her wounds, but I know she's not done. The hearing's in 2 days, and I've got footage, witnesses, and Sarah's legal firepower. I'm ready to expose her lies, to show Maplewood Lane who the real threat is. But as I lock my door, Lily's quiet voice from yesterday echoes. "Are we safe, Mommy? I'm fighting for her future, for my tenants' right to belong. I just hope the cost doesn't break us." The morning sun glints off the dew-soaked lawns of Maplewood Lane, but there's a chill in the air that matches the knot in my stomach. I'm sipping coffee, trying to shake off last night's sleeplessness, when a police cruiser pulls into my driveway. My heart skips. Brenda's arrest 2 nights ago should have slowed her down, but I brace for more trouble. Officer Rodriguez steps out, his face neutral, holding a clipboard. "We got a noise complaint about your house, Ms. Harper," he says, glancing at his notes. "Last night around midnight." I blink, confused. My house was quiet, Lily was asleep, and I was up late reviewing Sarah's legal notes for the HOA hearing tomorrow. This is Brenda's doing another jab to keep me off balance. I invite Rodriguez inside, showing him my security footage from last night. Nothing but crickets and a stray cat. He nods, unimpressed, and says, "Complainant was anonymous, but we have to follow up." I know it's Brenda. She's weaponizing the system now, trying to paint me as the problem before the hearing. My anger simmers, but I keep it in check, thanking him as he leaves. Lily's at the kitchen table, coloring, her small brows furrowed. "Why do the police keep coming, Mommy?" she asks. I hug her, promising, "It's just a mix-up," but inside, I'm raging. Brenda's not just targeting me, she's making my daughter feel like we're criminals in our own home. I head to the rental to warn Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone. They're in the kitchen, Maria brewing coffee, Tanya sketching flyers for the hearing, Leah grading papers, and Simone chopping vegetables with a chef's precision. I tell them about the noise complaint, and their faces harden. "She's trying to bury us in paperwork," Maria says, slamming her mug down. Simone, her knife pausing mid-chop, adds, "Let's give her something real to complain about." We laugh, but it's grim. Sarah's warned us the HOA could use any infraction to bolster their case, so we need to be squeaky clean. But I'm done playing defense. I pull up my security footage from the last week, combing through it for anything we can use. And there it is, a gem from 3 nights ago, before Brenda's arrest. It's Greg sneaking onto my property at 2 a.m., banging pots together near my windows, then sprinting back to their house. The noise Brenda reported was her own husband's stunt staged to frame me. My pulse races. This is gold. I burn the footage to a USB drive and call Sarah, who's thrilled. "This shows intent," she says.
We'll present it at the hearing. It's fraud, plain and simple. I feel a surge of power, like I've finally got Brenda cornered. That afternoon, I'm at the park with Lily trying to give her a normal day, when Brenda drives by her window, down her smirk as sharp as ever. "Enjoying your last days here, Elise?" she calls loud enough for other parents to turn. I clench my fists, but Lily's watching, so I smile and wave my teeth gritted. "See you at the hearing, Brenda?" She speeds off, but her taunt lingers. She thinks she's untouchable, that her noise complaints and petition will scare us off. She's wrong. The hearing's tomorrow, and I spend the evening prepping with my tenants. We're at the rental, the living room, cluttered with Tanya's flyers and Leah's research on HOA bylaws. Maria's boys are practicing their testimony simple statements about how much they love their home. Simone's baking cookies to bring a subtle jab at Brenda's community values. We're ready, but the weight of it all hits me. If we lose, my tenants could be evicted, and I'll be the pariah of Maplewood Lane. I push the thought aside, focusing on the footage, the flyers, the truth. The climax comes that night, when another noise complaint brings Rodriguez back. This time, I'm ready. I show him the footage of Greg banging pots, his face clear as day. Rodriguez's eyes narrow, and he takes a copy of the video, muttering about wasting police time. It's not an arrest, but it's a warning, and I know it'll rattle Brenda. I text Sarah, who adds it to our case file. As Rodriguez leaves, I catch Brenda peeking through her curtains, her face pale. For the first time, she looks scared, and it fuels me. She's been playing dirty, but I've got her number now. Back inside, I tuck Lily into bed, her small hand gripping mine. "Are we gonna be okay, Mommy?" she asks. I kiss her forehead, promising we will, but my chest aches. This war's changing me. I'm sharper, tougher, but I'm also tired. I've turned the tables on Brenda, exposing her lies, but the hearing's our last stand. I check my cameras, lock the doors, and sit at my kitchen table, replaying the footage of Greg's stunt. It's a power shift, a sign we're gaining ground. But as I glance at Brenda's dark house, her porch light off, I know she's not done. She's plotting, and I need to be ready. Tomorrow, we face her in front of the whole neighborhood. I've got evidence, allies, and a fire she can't match. But as I turn off the lights, Lily's question echoes. "Are we gonna be okay?" I'm fighting for her, for my tenants, for every woman Brenda's tried to crush. I just hope I can protect them from the fallout. The sun dips low, painting Maplewood Lane in shades of orange, but the festive chatter from the annual block party feels like a slap. I'm on my porch, sipping iced tea, watching neighbors mingle in the street tables laden with potluck dishes, kids chasing balloons, music drifting from a speaker. Brenda's hosting this year, her lawn a showcase of perfection, and she's made it crystal clear I'm not welcome. No invitation, no flyer, just a pointed comment yesterday. "It's for real neighbors, Elise." My tenants weren't invited either, and the exclusion burns a public shaming in front of the whole street. Lily's inside drawing, unaware of the snub, but I feel it like a knife. Brenda's using this party to rally her clique to paint us as outsiders before tomorrow's HOA hearing. I could stay home, lick my wounds, but that's what Brenda wants. Instead, I text Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone, "Let's throw our own party, right now." They're in, and within an hour, the rental's backyard is alive. Maria's boys string up Christmas lights, Simone fires up the grill, and Tanya sets up a projector for an outdoor movie. Leah's newborn naps in a stroller, while kids from neutral households, Mrs. Carter's grandkids, the Henderson's daughter, trickle in, drawn by the scent of burgers and Simone's homemade lemonade. I've sent out a last-minute invite to every house, even Brenda's, with a note, "Join us for real community." It's a gauntlet thrown, and I'm ready for the fallout. Our party grows loud, joyous, a direct challenge to Brenda's curated affair. Across the street, her block party falters. Neighbors glance our way, some wandering over plates in hand. Mrs. Carter brings her famous peach cobbler, whispering Brenda's furious, "You're stealing her thunder." The Hendersons join their daughter, giggling with Tanya's toddler. Even the Wilsons who signed Brenda's petition show up, looking sheepish but drawn by the vibe. Simone's grilling like a maestro, Maria's leading a dance-off, and I'm passing out flyers for tomorrow's hearing, reminding everyone to come see the truth. It's working. Brenda's losing her grip, and I feel a rush of defiance. But Brenda doesn't let it slide. Halfway through the night, she marches over Greg, trailing her his phone out recording. "This is a public disturbance," she snaps her voice, carrying over the music. "You're proving my point. Your kind doesn't belong here." The crowd quiets eyes on us. Maria steps forward, arms crossed, but I raise a hand, taking the lead. "Brenda, you're on my property complaining about a party you weren't invited to. Sound familiar?" A few neighbors chuckle, and her face reddens. She tries to rally, pointing at the kids, the lights, but I cut her off. "Go back to your party. We're not bothering anyone." Greg mutters something, but Brenda grabs his arm, dragging him away. The crowd claps, and I feel a surge of power. She's losing face, and everyone's watching. The party roars back to life louder than before. Kids watch Moana on the projector, adults swap stories, and Tanya's flyers circulate their bold text, praising my tenants' contributions. Mrs. Carter pulls me aside, her eyes sharp. "You've got more support than you think, Elise. People are tired of Brenda's bullying." The Hendersons nod, promising to speak at the hearing. It's a turning point. Our party's not just a middle finger to Brenda. It's a statement that we belong. Lily sneaks over from our house, joining the kids, her laughter a balm to my frayed nerves. For a moment, I let myself breathe, soaking in the warmth of this makeshift family. But the blowback comes at dawn. I wake to find my mailbox toppled, spray-painted with "Get Out." Brenda's block party ended late, and I'm sure this is her retaliation, or Greg's on her orders. I snap photos, my hands shaking, and check my cameras. Sure enough, there's Greg at 3 a.m. wielding a baseball bat. I save the footage, another nail in Brenda's coffin for the hearing. Lily sees the mailbox before I can clean it up, her eyes wide. Why do they keep doing this? "Mommy?" I kneel, hugging her, promising it'll stop soon, but my chest aches. This war's costing me her peace, and I hate it. I call Sarah, sending her the new footage. She's confident we've got enough to crush Brenda's petition, but warns me to stay calm at the hearing. "She'll try to provoke you," Sarah says. I nod, but inside, I'm a live wire. I visit the rental where Maria's teaching her boys to stay strong. Tanya's designing a final flyer, and Simone's baking for the hearing crowd. Leah's practicing her speech, her voice steady despite the stress. They're my army, and I'm theirs. We're ready to face Brenda to show Maplewood Lane who the real disruptor is. As I walk home, Brenda's porch light flicks on her silhouette in the window. She's watching, seething, but I don't flinch. Tonight's party humiliated her, and tomorrow's hearing will finish the job. I've changed. I'm not just surviving her attacks. I'm outmaneuvering her, building a community she can't break. But as I lock my door, Lily's question lingers. Why do they keep doing this? I'm fighting for her, for my tenants, for every woman Brenda's tried to erase. The hearing's our chance to end this, but I know Brenda's got one last trick up her sleeve. The morning of the HOA hearing dawns gray, the air heavy with the threat of rain mirroring the storm brewing in my chest. I'm in my kitchen, sipping bitter coffee, reviewing Sarah's notes, and the stack of evidence we've built: camera footage, police reports, Tanya's flyers. My hands tremble, not from fear, but from the weight of what's at stake. If we lose today, Brenda's petition could force my tenants out, and I'll be branded the neighborhood pariah. Lily's at Maria's, spared from the tension, but her worried eyes from last night haunt me. Brenda's final sabotage last night, slashing the rental's waterline, has pushed me to the edge. I'm not just fighting for my tenants anymore. I'm fighting to end this war. I arrive at the community center, early, the same sterile room from the first HOA meeting, now packed with neighbors. Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone are with me, their faces resolute. Tanya's flyers are on every chair, showcasing their contributions. Maria's nursing, Leah's teaching, Simone's cooking, Tanya's art. Mrs. Carter and the Hendersons are here nodding encouragement along with a few others who came to our party. Brenda's at the front, flanked by Greg and Harold, her blazer crisp, her smile smug. She thinks she's won, but the footage of Greg's vandalism and her spray paint stunt is burning a hole in my purse. Today I'm exposing her. The hearing begins with Harold droning about community standards, but Brenda interrupts, presenting her petition. She paints my tenants as a blight noise traffic instability, her voice dripping with disdain. A few neighbors nod, but others, like the Wilsons, look uneasy. Sarah takes the floor next, calm and sharp, dismantling Brenda's claims. She presents our counter-petition signed by Mrs. Carter, the Hendersons, and 10 others praising the tenant's value. Then she plays the footage, Greg banging pots, slashing tires, toppling my mailbox. Brenda spray painting the fence. Gasps ripple through the room. Brenda's face pales, her hands gripping the table. Greg shifts red-faced as neighbors whisper. I stand to speak, my voice steady despite the adrenaline. Brenda's not protecting this neighborhood, she's tearing it apart. She's lied, vandalized, and harassed us because we don't fit her idea of stable. But look at my tenants. They're nurses, teachers, mothers. They're us. I lock eyes with Brenda, who glares back, but I see her tremble. Maria speaks next, her voice fierce, sharing how her boys love their home. Tanya, Leah, and Simone follow their stories, raw and powerful. The room shifts. Neighbors who signed Brenda's petition now avoid her gaze. We're winning, and it feels like fire in my veins. But Brenda's not done. She leaps up, voice shrill, accusing us of faking the footage, of orchestrating a smear campaign. It's desperate, unhinged, and Harold tries to calm her, but she's spiraling. Then comes her final blow. She claims I've violated HOA rental rules by not submitting tenant applications for approval, a technicality that could void the leases. My stomach drops. Sarah warned me about this, but I thought we'd covered it. Harold looks smug, flipping through bylaws, and for a moment, I feel the ground slip. Brenda's smirking, sensing blood. Sarah counters, producing emails proving I submitted the applications, but Harold misplaced them, a convenient oversight. The room erupts, neighbors arguing, some defending us, others backing Brenda. It's chaos, and I realize this is her last sabotage, not vandalism, but bureaucracy. I step forward, my voice cutting through the noise. If you want to play technicalities, Brenda, let's talk about your unreported renovations, your fines, your lies. I nod to Sarah, who presents documents of Brenda's HOA violations. The crowd murmurs and Harold's face reddens. Brenda's smirk vanishes, her eyes darting to Greg, who's silent, defeated. The vote is called, and it's agonizing, each neighbor casting a ballot on the petitions. Sarah whispers that we've got a strong chance, but my heart's pounding. As Harold tallies, I glance at my tenants, their hands clasped, and feel a surge of pride. Win or lose, we fought with everything we have. The results come. Brenda's petition is rejected, 18-12. Hours passes, affirming the tenants' right to stay. Cheers erupt from our side, and I hug Maria, tears stinging my eyes. Brenda storms out, Greg trailing her, click silent. It's a victory, but the cost hits me, months of fear. Lily's anxiety, my tenants' stress. That night, I'm at the rental celebrating with pizza and Simone's cupcakes. Maria's boys play tag, Tanya's toddler dances, and Leah's newborn coos. We're bruised, but unbroken. Mrs. Carter stops by, admitting she rallied neutral neighbors to vote our way. The Hendersons promise to push for Harold's removal. It's a new Maplewood Lane one Brenda can't control. But as I drive home, I see her porch light on her silhouette gone. She's retreating, but I know she's not gone for good. I've changed. I'm not the Elise who smiled and took Brenda's insults. I'm a warrior, and I've won this battle. But the hearings expose the scars of this war, the toll on Lily, on all of us. Tomorrow, I'll plant flowers with her, rebuild what Brenda tried to destroy. For now, I lock my door, check my cameras, and hold on to the truth. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. The rain finally breaks, a soft drizzle pattering against my windows as I sit at my kitchen table, the HOA hearings victory still buzzing in my veins. It's been 2 days since we crushed Brenda's petition since her lies unraveled in front of Maplewood Lane. The neighborhood's quieter now, the tension easing like a fever breaking. But I'm not naive. Brenda's silence feels like the calm before a new storm. My coffee's gone cold and Lily's asleep upstairs. Her soft snores a reminder of why I fought so hard. But as I scroll through my phone replaying the footage of Brenda's spray paint stunt, I feel the weight of this war. We won, but the scars run deep, and I'm grappling with what it's cost me. Yesterday, I walked to the rental to check on Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone. Their house is a home now. Maria's boys, shooting hoops. Tanya's toddler painting the porch steps. Leah's newborn giggling in a swing. They hugged me, their gratitude raw, but I saw the strain in their eyes. Brenda's harassment slashed tires, cracked windshields, midnight screams left marks even if they're staying. Simone pulled me aside, her chef's hands steady, but her voice low. "We're okay, Elise, but what's next?" "She's not gonna stop." I didn't have an answer, and that scared me. I've been their shield, but I'm human, and I'm tired. The neighborhood's shifting, though. Mrs. Carter's started a petition to oust Harold as HOA president, and the Hendersons are backing it. Neighbors who stayed silent, like the Wilsons, now wave when I pass. Brenda's clique is quieter, their online venom dialed back. But last night, I found a new flyer on my doorstep, anonymous of course, but Brenda's style. "You may have won, but you're still not one of us." It was crumpled like she'd hesitated before leaving it. I tossed it, but it lingered, a reminder that she's watching, plotting. My camera's caught nothing, and Greg's car hasn't moved in days. They're lying low, but I know better than to trust the quiet. Today, I took Lily to the park, needing normalcy. She laughed on the swings, but when another kid mentioned the mean lady next door, her smile faded. "Is she still mad at us, Mommy?" she asked. I knelt, promising we're safe, but my heart cracked. This war's changed. Her made her wary in a way no 8-year-old should be. It's changed me too. I'm tougher, strategic, but I flinch at every car that slows by our house. I check my cameras, obsessively lock the doors twice. Brenda's hate has seeped into my bones, and I hate her for it. The climax comes tonight, unexpected and raw. I'm in my backyard pulling weeds to clear my head when I hear a crash from Brenda's property. I peek over the fence, heart racing, and see her on her patio alone, smashing a wine glass against the table. She's crying, her blazer gone, her hair a mess. "You think you've won?" she mutters, not seeing me. "You're nothing." It's unhinged, a glimpse into her unraveling, and for a moment I feel pity. She's built her life on control, and we've shattered it. But then I remember Lily's fear, my tenants' stress, and the pity burns away. I slip back to my house, my resolve hardening. She's broken, but she's still dangerous. I call Sarah, updating her on the flyer, and Brenda's outburst. She's blunt. File a restraining order if she escalates again. "You've got enough evidence." It's a lifeline, but it also hits me. I'm planning for the next battle, not a ceasefire. I visit the rental one last time, needing their strength. Maria's cooking. Tanya's designing a mural for the community center. Leah's reading to her baby, and Simone's sharpening her knives, a glint in her eye. "We're not leaving," Maria says, squeezing my hand. "You gave us a home, Elise. We'll fight for it." Their defiance fuels me, but I see the toll. Maria's boys are jumpy. Tanya's toddler clings to her. We're survivors, but we're bruised. Back home, I tuck Lily in her small hand in mine. "You're so brave, Mommy," she whispers. I smile, but inside, I'm wrestling with the truth. Bravery has a cost. I've won this round, exposed Brenda's lies, protected my tenants. But the war's left me hypervigilant, my daughter anxious, my tenants wary. I've changed. I'm a fighter, a leader, but I'm also scarred. As I turn off her light, I glance at Brenda's house. Her porch light off her windows, dark.
She's retreating, but I know she's not gone. This victory is mine, but it's bittersweet paid for with sleepless nights and Lily's innocence. I lock the doors, check the cameras, and sit at my table staring at the crumpled flyer. Tomorrow, I'll plant flowers with Lily, rebuild what Brenda tried to destroy. For now, I hold on to the truth: we're still here, and we're stronger than her hate. But the scars remind me this war's not over, and I need to be ready for what's next. The rain has stopped, and Maplewood Lane is still the night wrapping around my house like a soft blanket. I'm on my porch, a mug of chamomile tea warming my hands. The fight with Brenda fading into a quieter ache. Winning the HOA hearing was a triumph, but it came at a cost: sleepless nights. Lily's anxious questions, the strain on Maria, Tanya, Leah, and Simone. I've spent months in battle mode, my heart racing at every creak, my eyes scanning for Brenda's next move. But tonight, I let myself breathe, reflecting on what this war has taught me. I stood up to a bully not just for me, but for every woman she tried to break, and that's a victory I'll carry forever. The emotional toll is real. I've lost my naivety, the belief that a quiet street meant peace. Brenda's hate exposed the fragility of community, how quickly neighbors can turn under pressure. But it also showed me resilience, mine, my tenants, even the neighbors who rallied behind us. I'm proud of the home I've built for Lily, the sanctuary we've created for my tenants. They're not just renters. They're family bound by this fight. And Lily, my brave girl, is learning that standing up for what's right is worth the scars. If you're dealing with someone toxic next door, please believe me, you're not crazy and you're not alone. You have strength you haven't tapped yet, allies you haven't met. For me, the dignity of standing up to Brenda, of giving a home to 4 incredible single moms, is a light that outshines the darkness. Maplewood Lane isn't perfect, but it's ours, and we're rebuilding it, one flower, one smile, one shared meal at a time. Keep fighting. You're worth it.